Welcome back, seekers of shadows. In the last chapter of Dark Whispers, we witnessed the poor fisherman trembling before the mighty Sultan, his fate hanging by a thread. The mysterious, glowing fish he had delivered vanished in a puff of smoke, leaving the court in stunned silence. Was this humble man a bringer of miracles, or a cursed messenger of dark sorcery? Tonight, we continue this tale of fear, fate, and forbidden secrets. This is Dark Whispers. The throne room fell silent, a suffocating stillness that even the whisper of silk curtains dared not disturb. All eyes were fixed upon the fisherman, his form small and quivering before the Sultan's imposing presence. The ruler's gaze poured down upon him like the edge of a scimitar, sharp and unforgiving. "Speak, fisherman," the Sultan commanded, his voice low and dangerous. "From whence came these impossible creatures? Know that lies will cost you your head, while truth may yet spare your miserable life." The poor man's lips trembled, his mind a maelstrom of terror. To reveal the lake would invite the genie's wrath. To conceal it would seal his doom at the Sultan's hand. His very existence balanced upon the edge of a knife. With a voice barely above a whisper, he stammered, "O great and merciful Lord, swear by your exalted throne, I know not the mystery of these fish. They came to me as the sea delivers its bounty to the humble. I brought them only as an offering to your magnificence." The Sultan's fingers tightened upon his throne, knuckles white with tension. A storm of whispers rose among the courtiers, some calling for the fisherman's head, others marveling at the strange occurrence. Suddenly, the Sultan rose, his robes sweeping across the polished floor like the wings of a great bird of prey. "Take him to the chambers of waiting," he decreed, his voice echoing through the hall. "He shall not leave this palace until the truth is uncovered, be it by persuasion or other means." Rough hands seized the fisherman, dragging him through winding corridors adorned with mosaics depicting ancient battles and long-forgotten kings. At last, they thrust him into a small, dimly lit chamber where a single oil lamp flickered weakly against the encroaching darkness. Hours crawled by, each moment an eternity of dread. The fisherman huddled in a corner, his thoughts a torment of fear and regret. He saw the hollow eyes of his children, heard their hungry cries. The genie's ominous warning echoed in his mind. Not all gifts are blessings, mortal. The creak of the door startled him from his misery. A figure entered, cloaked in shadows, face obscured beneath a heavy hood. The stranger's footsteps made no sound as he approached, his very presence seeming to dim the feeble lamplight. "I am the Sultan's vizier," the newcomer whispered, his eyes glinting like polished obsidian in the gloom. "Tell me, fisherman, where did you truly find such wondrous creatures? Speak freely, for I may be your only shield against the Sultan's mounting wrath." The fisherman trembled anew, torn between desperation and terror. "O wise vizier, I am caught between two dooms. For if I reveal what I know, I may unleash a horror greater than any earthly punishment." The vizier studied him intently, then leaned closer, his breath hot against the fisherman's ear. "Then it is, as I suspected. There is more to this tale than mere wonder. You must trust me, fisherman. The Sultan's patience wanes with each passing moment. If you remain silent, your head will adorn the palace gates before dawn breaks." Closing his eyes in anguish, the fisherman could almost feel the genie's smoky tendrils curling around his throat, hear that thunderous voice promising destruction. But he knew he could not keep his silence any longer. At last, he whispered, "There is a lake hidden beyond the western hills. Its waters divided into 4 pools, white and red, yellow and black. Within swim fish such as those I brought. But it is no place for mortal men. It is guarded by a spirit of terrible power and ancient wrath." The vizier's eyes widened, his grip tightening on the fisherman's shoulders. "By all that is holy, I have heard whispers of such a place, but only in the most forbidden of legends. The Sultan must know of this at once. You may have saved your life this night, poor soul. As the first rays of dawn painted the sky, the fisherman once again stood before the Sultan. The court was smaller now, more intimate. Only the ruler, his vizier, and a handful of grim-faced guards remained. The Sultan's countenance was carved from stone, his voice colder than the deepest desert night. "Tell me again, fisherman," he commanded, "where lies this lake of wonders?" The fisherman repeated his tale, each word heavy with dread. The Sultan listened in silence, though his eyes flickered with a hunger that had nothing to do with sustenance and everything to do with power. When the fisherman finished, a heavy stillness fell over the chamber. Then the Sultan rose, his bejeweled hand stretching toward the horizon. "If such a place truly exists, I shall see it with my own eyes. Vizier, assemble a company of my finest soldiers. We ride at dawn. The fisherman shall be our guide." Falling to his knees, the fisherman cried out, "Mercy, my lord! The spirit will surely destroy us all if we dare to trespass upon its domain." But the Sultan's voice thundered like a storm breaking over the desert. "Silence! Do you think I, master of these lands, tremble before spirits and shadows? There is magic in this lake. It shall serve me. And if this so-called spirit dares to resist, it shall fall before my might." The fisherman's protests died upon his lips. In that moment, he knew his fate was sealed, bound to the Sultan's reckless ambition. As dawn broke, the palace erupted into a frenzy of activity. Horses stamped impatiently, banners snapped in the morning breeze, and the air rang with the clash of armor and weaponry. The Sultan rode at the head of the procession, resplendent in gold, his eyes fixed upon the rising sun. The fisherman, bound and dejected, was placed upon a mule at the rear, his heart heavy with the knowledge of the doom that surely awaited them all. The caravan wound its way through the unforgiving desert, past towering dunes that shimmered like waves of gold, through valleys where vultures circled ominously above the bleached bones of less fortunate travelers. The merciless sun beat down upon them, but still they pressed onward, driven by the Sultan's relentless will and insatiable curiosity. As night fell, they reached the foothills, and there, beneath the cold, silver gaze of the moon, the lake revealed itself in all its otherworldly splendor. Gasps of awe and fear spread through the ranks of soldiers. Even the most hardened warriors trembled at the sight before them. The four pools gleamed as though the very earth had bled jewels into their depths. Strange winds stirred the reeds that lined the shore, carrying whispers in tongues no mortal ear could comprehend. The Sultan dismounted, his eyes ablaze with triumph and greed. "So it is true," he murmured, his voice thick with anticipation. "Power beyond imagining sleeps here, King, and tonight it shall be mine to command." But even as the words left his lips, the waters began to stir. Ripples spread across the glassy surface of each pool, and from their depths rose a sound, low, thunderous, and as ancient as the earth itself. The fish darted wildly beneath the surface, their unearthly glow intensifying as though in response to some primal fear. The ground trembled beneath the soldiers' feet. Shadows twisted and writhed upon the water's surface, and then a voice returned, a sound that shook the very foundations of the world. "You dare return, fisherman," boomed, causing the very air to vibrate with its fury, "and you bring an army to my domain. Have you learned nothing from your folly?" The soldiers clutched their weapons with white-knuckled grips, eyes wide with terror. Yet the Sultan stood firm, though his hand twitched upon the hilt of his ornate sword. "Show yourself, spirit." The Sultan roared, his voice carrying the weight of his authority. "I am master of this land and all within it. You will bend to my will or be destroyed." In that instant, the lake erupted in a blinding flash of light. Great, billowing clouds of smoke poured forth, twisting and coalescing into the towering form of the genie. Its eyes burned like twin suns, its voice shaking the very heavens. "Foolish mortal, you dare to command me. You and your pitiful kingdom shall drown in shadows for this arrogance." The soldiers fell back in terror, many dropping their weapons and fleeing into the night. Horses reared and screamed, their eyes rolling in panic. Guy, the fisherman, buried his face in his hands, whispering desperate prayers that were lost in the roar of the gathering storm. And above it all, the Sultan drew his blade. The steel flashed like lightning in the darkness as he shouted his defiance into the chaos. "Then, let us see if a sultan can slay a god." The night exploded into a maelstrom of thunder and eldritch flame as the sultan and the genie faced one another, mortal pride pitted against immortal fury. The fisherman cowered, knowing that one way or another, destiny would be written this night in blood and fire. What will become of the sultan's reckless challenge? Can any mortal hope to stand against the wrath of an ancient spirit? And what price will the fisherman pay for his unwitting role in this clash of titans? Don't miss the earth-shattering continuation of this tale. Only on Dark Whispers.